Okay, we've kept the best to last, so thanks for hanging around. And if you're walking by, come on in and have a listen to 7 new exciting RegTech firms present their wares. The RegTech Association, which you've heard a bit about this afternoon, we've worked with the FinTech Festival to pull together 7 innovative and exciting companies in the space, all different products and services, so they're not exactly the same, and it's all about the themes we talked about before, right across the RegTech spectrum. Each of the companies will have 3 minutes to pitch, and I will actually call it out, and I'll get a bit angry if they go over as well. First one, Dr. Hamish Macalister, Founder and Chief Executive Officer of Transparently.
Do I get a... Aha, there we go, my slide. Hi everyone, my name's Hamish. I'm CEO, co-founder of Transparently. Transparently is a company that tells you who is the next Wirecard, who is the next China Evergrande, who is the next Adani Enterprises. In other words, our company tells you which companies in the world are grossly manipulating their accounts and will collapse as a result. Now, the obvious question, how big is this problem? We hear about these companies in the media, but how often does this actually happen? A lot more often than many people realize. Independent research suggests that 40% of companies manipulate their accounts every year. 10% commit securities fraud every year. The SEC believes this is bigger than a $4.5 trillion a year problem. It's enormous. Now, here's the problem. Auditors don't cover this off. So while the financial community is very confident in the financial information, so 80% of market participants use, or at least rely on the financial audited information, when there is wrongdoing in the accounts, the external auditors find it 3% of the time. So there's a big disconnect. So we built the world's first AI-powered system for the early detection of accounting manipulation and fraud. And when I say early, I mean very early indeed. Our system, on average, finds these companies 2 to 3 years before the wider market realizes they are grossly manipulating their accounts. How do we do it? We have hundreds of models that replicate the behavior of forensic analysts, activist short sellers, equity analysts, credit analysts, etc. And all of these are combined into an AI learning model. We produce ratings for companies, A+ to F, in terms of how seriously that company is manipulating its accounts. And at the far end of that slide, the real killer app of this process is our system writes deep dive forensic accounting reports in 2 to 3 seconds. These reports are 10 to 50 pages long. So you can imagine the productivity gains as a result. We deliver to our clients actionable insights via a user interface that they can log into, and also a Gen AI system, so you can literally talk to the world's first AI forensic accounting system and get these very clear, actionable forensic insights. In terms of clients who would be using this, well, we already have some of the world's largest asset managers, auditors, banks, regulators, and exchanges utilizing this product. And thank you very much. That's transparently.ai.
Big round of applause for Hamish there. Well done. You didn't go over time also. And a great Singapore business as well. The next one to come out, I'll just check I've got the order here right, but I think we've got Jacqueline Pang coming up next. Co-founder and Chief Executive of Artius Global. Over to you, Jacqueline.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me. Please allow me to introduce Artius Global. We are in the business of simplifying regulatory disclosures, and our flagship solution is in shareholding disclosure. We won the best shareholding disclosure solution last year, and are featured in Deloitte's and RegTech 100's top RegTechs to watch out for in the world. Our solutions are built by practitioners like ourselves for practitioners like yourselves, because we have deep expertise in regulatory compliance, as well as investment operations and technology. What is shareholding disclosure, you may ask, right? So it's a mandatory disclosing of shares by regulators when you reach certain thresholds as prescribed by local regulations. And you have different rules that cover long positions, short, sensitive industries, and takeovers, right? And more than 100 capital markets have such regulations, and they cover equities and beyond equities, so stuff like securities lending, convertible bonds, etc. Now, the cost of non-compliance is significant. If you just take the top 3 markets that fined people, the total fines came up to $12 million. And although the number of fines, right, did not increase much, but the total fines in dollars terms have increased by 380% in terms of aggregate fines, and fines per case by 270% to $3 million per fine. Right, besides hefty fines, firms who do not comply also incur the risk of reputational risk. And today, there are criminal liabilities for directors who of these companies that don't comply. Right, so you ask me, why is it so challenging to do shareholding disclosure? Imagine if you are a fund manager and you're managing against the MSCI World Index, which is 60 to 70 markets. How do you keep up with regulations across these markets? Are you sure that your fund structure is being configured into the solution according to the rules of each of these markets? Can you turn around in T+2 to make a disclosure if you reach the threshold? The reality is that oftentimes financial institutions face delays due to errors, due to expertise that are insufficient, or they are not familiar with the rules, increasing risk and the cost of compliance. Our solution automates it end-to-end for you. We cover 100+ markets. Our rules are out of the box. When your data is ready, it's technically a plug and play. We also fill in the forms that can be in different languages for you. Every single financial institution that invests in equity markets or equity derivatives are required to report and to monitor their holding against thresholds. We do see some financial institutions, especially the smaller ones in this part of the world, that cope with this by flying below the radar. Okay, and they may get regulatory updates from their lawyers once a year. They will miss out updates or changes in the year, and it is actually not worth it if, to incur the risk of non-compliance when the fines are so hefty. The value proposition that a good RegTech brings to the market is that it's got deep know-how. We are practitioners from the market. Our solution is best in class. It automates it end-to-end. You can literally report within a few clicks. Our solution is also offered both on-prem and as a SaaS, and it's quite simple to onboard. And last but not least, we make compliance sustainable, accurate, and timely for you. Mitigating risks, including your key man risks, the risk of late reporting, the risk of inaccurate reporting, because the process is entirely automated, hence lowering the cost of compliance. So if you have shareholding disclosure headaches and are struggling with this area, please do reach out to us. I'll be very happy to connect with you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jacqueline. It's fantastic. And another great Singapore-based business, but working all around the region and the world. Next up, we've got Clint Mills, who I think Clint's going to get the Best Dressed Award for the afternoon. Clint's Managing Director from Ingenuous, based in Melbourne. Give Clint a big round of applause.
Good afternoon. My presentation today focuses on using intuition to combat financial crimes. Global regulatory requirements are becoming more and more onerous on financial services providers, with the expectation that not only are they expected to monitor and report fraud and AML, but many other financial crimes, especially in the areas of human and environmental crimes. In addition to that, with customers expecting instant access to products and services, the same financial services providers need to find a way to address the many challenges they are faced with delivering these products and services according to customers' expectations, at the same time as not compromising the compliance checks that need to be done. The problem is, especially for larger organisations, who implemented computerised systems many years ago, those systems tended to perform just one function for one product and one service, resulting in silos of information across the organisation. That's why Ingenuous developed Intuition, a single real-time platform that can ingest information and data from any number of sources or silos, delivering to the user a complete customer view. Whether the customer is being onboarded or transacting, and no matter which product or service they're using, all the information will be available in the same Intuition system. Many organisations still keep fraud and AML functions separate and therefore often have different systems for different financial crime use cases. However, whilst fraud prevention and AML detection have different drivers, they both need data from the same sources and they both have many overlapping functions. Therefore, it is much more efficient to use the same solution. This reduces data duplication, reduces cost, and future-proofs your organisation against emerging financial crimes. Ingenuous is a Melbourne-based decision support company delivering its financial prevention solution to a broad range of industries globally. Our solution can be installed on-premise or offered as a SaaS solution. We deliver end-to-end financial crime prevention in a single platform and work with many strategic partners, with a few examples shown here. Thank you very much for the opportunity to showcase our solution to you today, and please contact me if you would like any further information. Thank you.
Big round of applause for Clint Mills there. Clint's in Melbourne, so if you need an excuse to go and visit the wineries, go and have a look at the Penguin Parade, give Clint a call. He could do a demo for you down in Melbourne, I am sure. Next up, Vanessa Yeoh, Senior Solutions Consultant from Featurespace. Vanessa, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Vanessa from Featurespace. Raise your hand if any of you have encountered a scam text or a scam call in the last few months. Yes, that's quite a lot of you. So that's really frustrating, isn't it? It just makes us more distrustful of everyone whom we interact with online. At Featurespace, we're actually committed to protecting the average person like me and you from financial crime and to make the world a safer place to transact. And we've been doing that for the last 10 years in over 80 financial institutions across the world. Some of the top banks, payment processors, fintechs, as well as in this region. How do we do it? We designed adaptive behavior analytics. And what that does is it understands what good behavior is very, very well so that the bad behavior stands out. We actually don't learn the bad behavior. Why? Because bad behavior just keeps on changing. 10 years ago, it was all about credit card fraud. But now, fast forward, we're now talking about scams, mules, account takeovers, and it will just keep on changing. So we learn the good behavior, such as what are the typical amounts you usually transfer, who do you send money to, for example, and we built all of that in real time. And we do it not just for the customer, we do it for the IP address, card, device, account, so we know what good looks like holistically. So when a transaction comes in, we use all these good profiles to say, hey, this is suspicious, let's block and reject it. And we do that in milliseconds, and we do that at scale, at billions of volumes per year. Not only are we able to detect fraud in real time, our technology is adaptive. Our machine learning models does not require retuning. It retrains for different fraud MOs, and it does not degrade. We understand the pain when you have to retrain your machine learning models because that takes time, money, and resources. So our machine learning models instead retrains every 30, 60, 90 days on the platform. So these technologies allow us to combat a wide variety of fraud, from card fraud, payment fraud, everything else that's mentioned on this slide, as well as everyone's favorite, scams, with our Scam Detect product. Due to time, I can only talk so much, but if you'd like to know more about the success that we have internationally and locally, please scan this QR code right here, or we'll be here after the event so you can come talk to us. Thank you very much.
Big round of applause for Vanessa. And it's great to see solutions that are adapting to the changing environment in real time. So well done with that product. We're up to number 5 now, so 3 more to go. Charles Pittar, General Manager, Growth and Customer Success, Castlepoint Systems. Over to you, Charles.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for staying here. Charlie Pittar. I work at an Australian AI software company called Castlepoint Systems. Now, Castlepoint is a RegTech tool, and it's based on, it discovers and it manages information risk. Now, I've spent 18 years in Hong Kong before Castlepoint, worked in some major banks, Goldman Sachs, Citibank and Macquarie Bank, where broadly my responsibilities included information security. So what attracted me to Castlepoint is I think they really help to answer 2 key fundamental issues. Firstly, it's harder to protect information if you don't know where it is. And as I'll explain in a moment, Castlepoint will help you find your risky and your valuable information and enable you to protect it. And secondly, with this exponential growth in data, it is very important to manage the threat surface of your information. Now, Castlepoint won't stop a breach, but we enable our clients to identify what data do we have that we no longer need to keep. And if you don't need to keep it, should you keep it? And often the answer is no. And by proactively managing and disposing of information that's no longer required, that threat surface of your information is proactively managed. So how do we do it? Castlepoint's a SaaS solution, typically installed in Azure or AWS. It doesn't really matter. Once it's installed, we just interface with both structured and unstructured systems. So think of M365, network file shares, all sorts of specific databases. Once we have that read access, the natural language processing goes ahead and reads every word of every document that we find. We support 1,600 file types. So if you've got a file type that has text in it, we can read it. And as the software reads, we capture metadata from the content. And it's that metadata that goes into the Castlepoint database. So by the time we've read terabytes and sometimes petabytes of information, our clients know exactly what information do they have, where is it, what's valuable and what's risky. And then the second type of AI we use is called rules as code. Now, we're pretty confident we're the only software company globally that actually does this, but we take the regulations that apply to you, we convert those into code, we run them over the Castlepoint database. That means we can auto-classify all of your information. What does that mean? Well, that means Castlepoint will be able to show how long your information must be kept for, but even more importantly, what can you get rid of? If you've got PII information, for example, that you don't need to keep anymore, Castlepoint can be used to compliantly destroy that information. And what I find really interesting after 18 odd years in financial services is these sorts of roles here, these people care about this stuff, right? Historically, records management was a back office function, but now it's front of mind with the C-suite executives in the organisation. We are across all levels of federal government in Australia, UK, as well as in New Zealand. We're considered a sovereign national security software company, but we have permission to sell here in Singapore. If you are interested in anything I've said, if you either want to use the software or a partner and you can see opportunities for us to work together, we would love to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Charlie. Big round of applause. You're based in Canberra, are you? There's some wineries in Canberra, quite a few museums, a lot of fairly boring politicians there as well, but well done. And it's always great to see businesses and people getting excited about data. Number 6 now, Wy-Lin, Fraud and Financial Crime Prevention at Feedzai. Welcome to the stage.
Hi guys. So I was at the ABS booth earlier, and they had a whole wall on scams. So that's exactly what I'm going to speak about today. The size and scale of scams have increased dramatically all across the world, APAC being the highest among the 4 regions. In fact, our friends in Malaysia, Taiwan, and Thailand have collectively lost $37 billion to scams last year. That is the equivalent, that's almost the equivalent to Bahrain's GDP, so that's an insane number. Now, our work with Global Anti-Scam Alliance also calls out that now is the time to invest in innovating and upgrading your financial crime technology. So if it wasn't for this big warning sign up here, would you have clicked on this ad? Maybe. Maybe I would have too. Right, if you haven't already heard, deepfake scams like these are getting so sophisticated that there was this guy in Hong Kong who transferred $25 million out to his deepfake CFO. So anyone can fall victim to scams. And adults aged 30 to 49 make up majority of the scam cases here in Singapore. So that's people like myself. Which is why today I'm here to share how Feedzai works with your banks to protect customers like you and I from scams. Now this slide is where I try to impress you. Feedzai has been around for more than a decade. We actually work with some of the world's biggest banks, a number of which you don't see on this map. But if you come speak to me after this, I'll be happy to share. Feedzai is a data science company that specializes in fraud and financial crime prevention for both issuers and acquirers. Globally, we protect over $6 trillion in payments annually. That's trillion with a T. That makes us third only to MasterCard and Visa. What does that look like? That's also 8 times Singapore's GDP. We're also the only vendor to be recognized by market analysts for all 3 categories. That is transaction fraud monitoring, anti-money laundering, and behavioral biometrics. So we have a proven track record in protecting customers from scams. Now, how do we do this? I'm not going to bore you with the nitty-gritty. Essentially, we're the only company that can take in all the data available internally and externally of the FI, financial institution, to be able to protect customers. In short, we process all the data, all the time, in real time. And you must be thinking to yourself, nah, how hard can that be, right? But if you speak to some of your friends who work in data engineering, they will tell you that it is quite a tall order, and there will be some compromises that have to be made. So think of us as the Formula 1 V6 engine of fraud and financial crime. Now, don't you want your banks to have a V6 engine to protect you from scams? I know I do. And that's all I have for you today. My name is Wy-Lin. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Wy-Lin. I won't ask which Formula 1 driver your company is, Max Verstappen or Lewis Hamilton. And I always love a slide that's got customer logos on it, so well done there. Okay, lucky last now. Welcome up Thim, Chief Executive Officer of InsiteMY Innovations. And we'll hopefully have your slides up shortly. So there you go, Thim. Big round of applause for Thim. Lucky last.
Thanks, Pete. Hi, everyone. My name is Thim. Today I'm going to talk about our reporting product, Report. It's a RegTech regulatory reporting product for banking sector. What problem we're trying to resolve here is actually we are going to reducing the complexity and then also the risk of the regulatory reporting for the banking sector. If you have time to experience to run a reporting project with the bank, so I think the main concern, main challenge for them is always a timeline. Timeline is very crucial, non-negotiable, so you cannot change the timeline. But if you miss a timeline, you are going to have a lot of penalty implication. And secondly, about the user team, always need to maintain, understand their regulation specification, and then this specification need to translate that to the technical requirement for the IT team to run their program, to do the programming, the producing their report for the final outcome. About the IT end, they also have a lot of challenge on getting data from their various hosts. So they need to dealing with multiple vendors to get their data in. After getting data into the system, they also have to dealing with the data quality and also the inconsistency of data for various sources. So InReport is our platform we designed for handling all these challenges. So it's a no-code and ease-to integration platform. We are actually very specialized to helping you to meeting your timeline. And we are also good with handling data and volume or to dealing with all the massive integration with the different vendors. We also very focused to complete, giving you an outcome of the report with the complete and also consistent manner with our data quality framework engine. So one thing we want to highlight here about our data quality engine is we have embedded the IA capability to detect all this inconsistent data before your report actually been submitted to the regulator. One thing also we want to highlight also on the regulation rules data pool. And this data module actually is meant for all the user team to store their rules and regulation here for them to, without any coding involved in the programming team. So all the user team actually can configure their rules without rely on the IT team to producing the source code. That's why in these cases, they will be able to speed up all the project implementation for the regulator changes on this part. One of the use cases I want to share with you on the InReport, recently we are helping in Malaysia. We have 16 customers using our system to complete their project with the e-invoicing initiative with the Malaysia government. Most of them is a banking customer, so they have a lot of data to handle. So we are helping them to finish the project by 10 weeks time. To sum up my sharing regarding InReport platform, so we are very, very confident that our InReport platform can help you reducing your risk on compliance challenge for all the compliance reporting and regulatory reporting project implementation. If you are the organization, we have a lot of data, so this will be helped out for you. Thank you very much.